What's up, everybody, and welcome back to ESO Daily. I am your host, Mystic Raven. So in this video, I just did a video about the Warden Healer. But in this video, I want to cover another subject of how to allot champion points since Morrowind, especially as a healer. So in this video, I'll be going over the champion system and how to allocate those points from a healer's role. Okay, so first thing I want to go ahead and do is I'm going to go into the champion system. Now keep in mind I am on the public test and I'm allocated up to the max, which is 630 with this expansion. So the first thing I want to go ahead and do is I want to go ahead and go into the apprentice. Now blessed is where we're going to derive a lot of our points because it's going to increase our healing done. So the max that we can go into blessed is 15%, right? But unfortunately, we have a thing called diminishing returns. So that last percent is wasting a lot of champion points. So what we want to go ahead and do is bring this down to about 14%. Now you can go 14.5 if you want. And sorry, this new system's a little touchy. So we want to take blessed up to about 14%, right, guys? Now we'll touch on Elfborn. Now, Elfborn is going to be our critical, and we want to make sure that our crit is usually up to about, between high 40s and mid 50s, ideally, so we can take advantage of our critical heals. And Elfborn is going to play a very important role in that. But one of the major things that we also want to go ahead and do is take a look at staff experts. So keep in mind that you're going to be weaving with the rest of those staff. This is kind of very important because when you do a heavy attack, it's going to heal a percentage of the damage back to your party. So what do we want to do? We want to increase the staff's damage output, thus increasing the healing of the weaves heal. So we're going to go ahead, and I usually like to take this up with Morrowind changes up to probably around 18%, 19%, something like that. You can bring it down to about 15 if you don't feel completely comfortable. Somewhere around there. So I like to keep it up kind of around there. Now what that allows me to do is go back over and then put into the Elfborn for the critical. And I really want to pump this up with this one. So I'll usually go... see how far we can go. I think the max is 25. Yeah, so 25. So I'll usually go around about 18%, 19%. Yeah, so that's kind of where I want to be. Now what I want to focus on is a little bit into my magic damage, not too much. Remember, I'm a healer. Now if I was a DPS, that would be a different. Now I do have light armor, which I do have spell pen, but I want to focus a lot more into my spell penetration so I can get about 2,000, 3,000 more. Okay, so somewhere around there, and I have a few points left. And if, that's for the stamina, and of course, we're not dealing any of this. So none of this tree is going to even apply to us. So if I want to now, I can go ahead and maybe put a couple more points in here. And I can bring this down to maybe about 25. Keep in mind, guys, I'm a healer. Damage is not kind of one of my big things that I'm worried about. So this is kind of looking good. We're avoiding a lot of diminishing returns. We're taking advantage of Elfborn. You can scale that up higher if you'd like. But Blessed, I would suggest to keep it at 14. Remember, you're going to be doing some damage with staff. So, obviously magic damage will apply. But staff expert is where, you need to pay attention to. So if I wanted to, I could even put more into staff expert and drop down maybe Elfborn. So if I had a low crit and I was going all base, I might drop down Elfborn, put more into staff expert. So those are your options. Okay. Now, since we don't have anything in here, we're going to take a look at the warrior tree. And major thing that I want to always do here is come over and look at my resistance. Now, I usually split the difference So I'll probably try to get this up to about 12%, somewhere around there. Maybe even a little higher. 13.5 sounds good. Now, if you're a vampire, I would go ahead and say, you know, take it all, even regardless of diminishing return. Same thing for werewolf if you're using werewolf ability. Okay. Now, the biggest thing here, I'm healing myself, so I want to put in some into quick recovery. I don't want to be the first to drop, so I want to increase this up a little bit, and I want to increase my this if I'm going to use ward or anything. So it's kind of a nice thing. Now keep in mind, what I also then do is go over to the thief. A lot of changes here, guys. A lot of changes. So break free is going to be a huge one for us. So I'll probably take this up to about 7-8%, somewhere around there. All right. And then the next thing I want to go ahead and do is Mooncalf. Now, Arcanist. A lot of people are going to want to stack it all. You can go up to 15%, but once again, keep in mind, diminishing returns. So what I would suggest is go ahead and take that up to about 14%, reserve those extra points that you can put elsewhere. Okay, now also I want to put in a little bit into my health recovery. And then Tenacity becomes a huge, huge one because we're going to be weaving and we want to recover as much as possible. So this is on this meta, and I don't like using the word meta, but we will be using it. I want to take advantage of Tenacity as much as possible. So we're going to go 13.5. Now I can go ahead and reduce any of the dodge rolls or other break frees. Okay. Now, so with that being said, I could put in more in healthy. We could pump this up maybe a little bit more. 14% sounds good. So 14. And we'll put more into the health recovery. So this is kind of where we're looking at for this. And it works out great. This is a very, very solid end build for your healer. Okay, once again, nothing into the ritual. The Astronaut, we definitely want to pay attention to our staff expert, put a few points in the Master of Arms, and definitely take Bless up to 14. Elfborn, we definitely want that to be effective. And Erosion becomes another factor for us because we want that penetration to affect our staff damage. All right, so there it is, pretty much said and done. Now, does this apply to every healer role? Not all of them. Majority, yes. The only exception of it is the DK. The DK has more mitigating effects with different shielding effects and stuff. And if you're running shielding effects like Combat's Physician set, you would put a lot more, some more into your Bastion. So you can get Bastion up there, and then of course, you know, maybe take out of your quick recovery, for example. So I can go ahead, drop down my quick recovery, maybe to about 3% because I can mitigate that difference. And I'm gonna push this up to about 19, 20 something percent. So then I can take advantage of that without having to sacrifice any of my resistance. Okay? If you have any questions or comments, please post below. I do want to thank you for watching, and once again and always, have a nice day.